It is 2:30 in the p.m. here in beautiful Orlando. Coverings 2023. So we'll get started. My name is Jeff Moen, no relation to the faucet company. I'm with FILA Chemicals, and it may seem like FILA Chemicals is a new player in the market, but we've actually been around for 80 years. We're celebrating our 80th year anniversary this year, and we are also celebrating 25 years in the United States. So we have been around for a good bit, and we're now available nationally, and so we're easy to find, shall we say. We want to highlight a couple products today that we think are unique and are important for you to know about. So my colleague here is Nicola Brunello. So he is our Italian technical director, and he's the guy that knows all this stuff really well. All right, let's start out. We're going to talk about a product that FILA came up with that is really, it's one of those products that you say, boy, I wish somebody would have thought about this. Matter of fact, I can't tell you how many of the contractors that come to see us, and they said, man, I wish I would have known about this product 2 days ago because I was doing a silicone caulking project of a bathroom and it just turned out horribly. So this is one of these products that just makes sense. So the usual way you're caulking or using silicone is you're doing your bead, and then you hope that you can get it right. And you're using detinctured alcohol, or using saliva, or using your thumb trying to get a good line. And so it almost always turns out badly. So FILA has come up with a product called Silicone Refiner, and Nicola is going to demonstrate it for you. So you pull your line. And then you use our special finishing spray, and you spray it right on to the surface, right onto the silicone. And then we provide also a tool that allows you to pull for the perfect caulk line. Let's see if you can see that. Oh, there you go. Excellent, excellent. Then you basically just use a microfiber cloth to remove any kind of excess or any of the excess spray, and it's very easy. Now I'll also mention that this refiner spray is excellent for cleaning the tools, because the other issue you have is if you're using caulking, etc., this stuff is sticking all over everything, and it's an excellent way to clean your tools as well. But the primary purpose is to give you the absolute perfect caulking line. And this is the box that it comes in. You have everything that is available inside the box. This is available readily nationally through Floor & Decor, as well as many of our distributors also are beginning to see the value in it. If you're a contractor, this is something that you definitely need to be aware of. So that is the Silicone Finishing Kit by FILA Chemicals. By the way, a couple things. People ask me all the time, FILA, doesn't that sound like the people that make the sportswear or something like that? What does FILA mean, for crying out loud? So FILA means Fabbrica Italiano Lucidi Affini, Italian factory of shoe polish and other stuff. So this company was founded back 80 years ago and provided shoe polish for the Italian army and everybody else. So this started as a very different business. And over the course of the years, we got involved with the producers of terracotta, ceramic tile, and all of the stone producers in Italy, and provided treatments that were both effective and affordable. So this way of working for FILA is something that we've continued throughout our whole tenure, shall we say, in these 80 years. And when the ceramic companies came to us, we started working with them on their treatments. We started working with them on how you clean their tiles, etc. Especially with the stone producers, we came up with sealers that were effective for all types of stone. So we have a full line that has every kind of specialty product you can imagine. And so if you're a contractor, if you're a professional, if you're a treatment specialist, and you need something, call up FILA. We have 3 of us that are company employees. I'm Jeff Moen. We've got Marco Gagliozzi here. We also have Mario Parra, who's at our booth. We're all veterans with more than 25 years of experience in the tile, stone, and treatment business. We actually know this stuff very well. We have a laboratory with Nicola and our whole laboratory staff. We also have Dennis Tesaro, who's with us today, who deals with the manufacturers of the various surfaces and helps them to treat their materials. So FILA is involved in both serving the contractor and the end user, also serving the manufacturers, and we also do projects. So we're doing an exciting project right now in New York City, down in the Tribeca area, and we're using one of our products that we're highlighting today, which is MP90 Eco Plus. So you may say to me, Jeff, why are you talking about a sealer? I mean, this is, sealers have been around, et cetera, et cetera. Well, there's actually a reason for it. Is recently, FILA has taken the lead in the industry to actually do some ASTM testing of sealers. Not only our sealers, but the various sealers in the market. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about this because this is something new. And we've shared this with some of our customers. The main things that are important about a sealer for you to know is, does it repel water? How well does it repel water? Does it resist stains? And also, how resistant is it? So I can't tell you, if I'm doing a training for a customer or a contractor, they want to know, is this going to protect against the stains? Is it going to repel the water? And how long is it going to last? And so these are things that are very important. Now, if you're also an architect or you're dealing with architectural projects, the emission of VOCs is very important. It needs to be very low. This is an important thing that's very sensitive in the market right now. And FILA has a certification that's called the Eurofins Gold certification. And this is used for LEED and all the various categories that architects are concerned with. And we've been rated as very, very, very low emission of VOCs. So this is important. The other thing is that MP90 Eco Plus is a water-based product. And in the past, contractors considered water-based products less effective. But this is not the case anymore. Water-based products such as MP90 Eco Plus are very effective. And that's why we're doing this testing. And I'm not going to bother you with some of the testing data except to point out that on the water repellent effect, we gave a value of super hydrophobic. What does that mean? Hydrophobic means that it's resistant to water. And so you're going to get a very surface that will bubble up. Actually, Nicola's going to be showing this. You see that the water just basically beads up and falls off. Back in the day in the tile business, Villeroy and Bach had an effect, they called it the lotus effect. And you can see that an untreated surface, it just absorbs it. So the water repellency is very important. I know a lot of customers ask me, how long does your sealer last? How do I know when I need to reapply? And my answer is always, throw some water on there. If it continues to bead up, that means it's still effective and it's working. If it is not beading up, that means you need to clean it and you need to reseal. So that's important. The stain test, this is a Ceramic Tile Institute of America test. And we tested limestone, unpolished sandstone, and polished granite, just so we use different types of stones. And we came out as very good, very little change in the surface with the stains, which is what the designations were. So the stain test turned out very well. And the scrub test is interesting because this is a scrub test that does 500 cycles to try to simulate foot traffic in residential settings. And the test is an ASTM test, and we turned out unvaried, which basically means there was no sign of wear. So in residential settings, this is really your go-to simplest way of dealing with any kind of sealing. And the nice thing about the water-based sealers is that they set up quickly, so you've got like 4 hours and you can walk on it, very good. They are also breathable. And Nicola has a manual test that's actually kind of interesting. How do you show that a sealer is breathable? Well, what we've done is we have a surface is treated with MP90 on top, and we're pushing air through it. And so if it's breathable, you'll see bubbles coming out the top. If it's not breathable, you won't see anything. So you can see, there you go. You can see it very clearly. This actually works. So this is important. Why is this important? Because most of the time, as a contractor, especially in commercial settings and even residential settings, you have surfaces and stones that have some humidity in them, and you're trying to get on the job and off the job, and you can't wait for it to dry thoroughly. And if you use our MP90 Eco Plus water-based sealer, it'll breathe that humidity, and it'll dry out the stone even if it's sealed. This is important. I will mention, without naming the names, that there was a project in New York City where they did not use ours, they used another sealer, and the stone was still wet, and they were delayed 3 weeks to open the store. And finally, they gave up and they stripped it, and they put our stuff on there because they couldn't dry the stone and they couldn't open the store. 3 weeks is a long time to keep a retail place closed because somebody put the wrong sealer on there. So this is a sealer that you can have trust in, and it actually works. Scrub test I mentioned. So this is an excellent sealer. It can be used both commercially and it can be used residentially. And that fast drying time is really important because if you're a commercial contractor and you need to do 2 coats because you've got a limestone, you're going to be in trouble if you use a solvent that has to cure for 12 hours. Whereas with the water-based sealer, you can do 2 coats in a single day and be done. So gets you off the job faster. So just to kind of summarize, the MP90 is basically you're getting superior stain, wear resistance for all surfaces. I'll also point that out that a lot of sealers in the market are only for specific stones, porous, unporous, etc. Whereas MP90 Eco Plus is for all stones. It's also used on polished porcelain. It's used on concrete. So it has a wide variety of uses, and of course grout. So Nicola, you were going to show something. Oh, you're actually going to start applying it. Excellent, thank you. The application process is very simple. You just basically are putting it on with a paintbrush or any kind of a lamb's wool applicator, whatever you tend to use. And you're going to let it sit for at least, say, 10-15 minutes. And you can do a wipe on, wipe off application. And then basically you just rub it until you have no residue. The only issue you ever have with a sealer is if you leave a residue. And unfortunately, a lot of contractors and a lot of DIYs will over apply because, you know, we're all supersizers, Americans. We love to, you know, if one is good, do 2 and just slop it on there and just leave it. That doesn't work. So you apply the coat, you make sure that it absorbs and it really saturates the surface, and then you wipe it until you're positive you do not have a residue. So anyways, question that some people ask me, why would, you know, there's a lot of price points in the market as far as sealers. Why pay that extra amount for a premium sealer? Well, basically, you get more of a quantity of the ingredients that are doing the stain protection. That's why it costs more. And then when you get this type of protection, you don't have issues of having to strip it and fix things. So getting a premium sealer is really worth the money. You want to do something once, and you don't want to have to keep returning. So this is MP90 Eco Plus, and this is our premium sealer that we're really focusing on. We've got a couple minutes. I wanted to show a couple other products that we are just then putting into the market. FILA traditionally has been kind of specialized with tile and stone, and now we're beginning to do entrees into the floor covering market. So we have 2 new products that we're highlighting at our booth that are departures for FILA and getting us into new markets. One is a wood cleaner, and the other is a laminate vinyl LVT cleaner. And here's Nicola coming up with the wood. Now, what's important about these sealers, or pardon me, these cleaners? Really, they're fairly simple, but the important thing to remember is that they don't give a residue, because a lot of times when you're using wood cleaners, they can leave a residue, and that ends up being something that will attract dirt. It ends up being an issue and something sometimes you have to clean the cleaner. This does not leave a residue. It also does not streak, And also the scent is not pungent or strong. It's actually pleasurable, and it's something that you don't mind putting on your floor. So there's the wood surface cleaner that we've just come out with called Wood Care Pro. And then of course in the market, laminate and LVT especially are very, very popular. So we've come up with a cleaner specifically for laminate and vinyl. There we go. We call this soft wash spray. Again, this is a simple product that you basically just are spraying on and you're wiping down without any kind of residue. I'll make one comment that is, you may look at this bottle and say this is definitely not an American bottle. So this top does not come off. So this is, and also it's very child-proof, and then it has an easy way to lock it between uses. So this is a premium packaging even. So this is something that the Italians do that I've not seen in the United States myself. So these are the products that we're highlighting. Is there an instant? L'instant. And then the final product that I'm going to mention, just because we have a little bit of time, we have a product that is a revolutionary product for the contractor that is called Instant Remover. And this is a product that you use during your first wash after you've put down your grout. So when the grout is just firming up and you're about to do your first wash, you clean it with this product, and that removes the residue that's going to build up, and it makes your cleanup faster and easier. Because the biggest problem that you have as a contractor is that you're doing your whole grouting and you've done your work very carefully and you've done your cleanup and you think you've really done a good job, but you didn't. She's shaking her head, yeah, because it looks like it's gone, but it isn't. And this product actually will dissolve that residue that you don't see. So then you can get off that job, and especially if it's a smaller job, you can get that off that job and you don't have to come back and do grout cleanup later. Or worse yet, your homeowner doesn't have to do the grout clean later. And your tile distributor is going to be thankful because they don't have somebody calling saying, you know, your tile is defective because you can't clean it. So this is something that makes everybody look good, and it makes the contractor save money because you're not having to go back. We have a version for cementitious grout, and we have a version for epoxy because the chemistry is different, as you know. So this is a product that is also available at Floor & Decor, and it is an excellent product for the contractor for the smaller jobs. So this is FILA. This is what we've got going, and I thank you for your attention. And if there's any questions that you have, let me know. There's got to be somebody that's going to say, have some question that's difficult. Man, I'm sure you've got a tough question. No. You do. Excellent. Yes. How old? Yes, yes. All right, let me tell you what her questions were, because we're having this conversation and you can't hear it. So the first question was, does this work on terrazzo, correct? And the nice thing about MP90 Eco Plus is I don't know a surface it doesn't work on. So it definitely works on terrazzo, number one. The second question she had was, okay, it's fine, you've just got this instant remover that removes that during the installation process. What if you have a really old grout residue? And let me tell you this, because you know I'm the manager of this company here in the United States, so if there was a problem, I hear about it. Deck is our cementitious grout haze remover, and I've had some very, very old, 6 months, 8 months, 2 years, and yes. Well, 3 days is nothing. That's 30 days, nothing. Seriously, I'm talking months. So Deck will, and I've been on some jobs that it was so thick that it's like, my God, could somebody even do something this poorly? Of course, I was saying that to the person that did it, so it was a little embarrassing, as is always the case. But anyways, Dieter Deck will just fizz it up. And the nice thing about Dieter Deck is you put it on there, you leave it on there about 5 minutes, and you scrub a little bit, and it's gone. It truly is something. Now, when you have an epoxy, and I've had some 6-month, 8-month, 1-year epoxy residues. Those are nasty, nasty, nasty. We have a product called Epoxy Off that will take that off even on those. You cake it on there as thick as you can, and you let it sit for as long as you can stand, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. It breaks down the epoxy or the urethane, that's another bad one, and it allows you to scrub and clean. And now it may take you a couple times doing it because epoxy and urethane are very, very stubborn, but it works. And we have setting material friends and Ardex and several that use our cleaners almost exclusively for these issues. So anyways, excellent question. I knew you had a question. You had that look. Anybody else have a question? Sir. You can find it all over the country with Floor & Decor and on Amazon. That's the easy button. Now, as far as a lot of distributors have it as well, so I'm not excluding them, but I know you can find, there's one of those two by your house, right? Yeah, sir.
Is your grout spray in addition to the grout release? Or is it
Completely different. I'm glad.
Can they use together or are they separate?
Grout release, and I've had people that have misused grout release just because of the name. Grout release is something that you use on certain porous stones before you grout, just to make sure that grout doesn't enter into the pores. So that's a preventative measure. It's a sacrificial sealer, and after you've laid it and you've grouted it, then you clean that off. But it is not related at all to this. No, you would want to use that to protect either a sealer or the grout release to protect a sensitive stone before you grout. Always do that. I get calls all the time from people saying, I forgot to seal before I put my marble down and now I've got grout haze all over it. That's a tough one because you can't use an acid on marbles. But anyways, good question. You always want to seal before you install acid-sensitive stones. Good. Did I answer the question?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
One more question also. The penetrating sealer, for ongoing maintenance, if it's already been sealed with something else, can you use your penetrating sealer, like a countertop?
Countertop, you're going to use it one time?
If it's already been sealed with another product.
Excellent question. And this happens all the time. What I recommend to people is make sure that you've thoroughly cleaned it and maybe even stripped it before you put this on there. Because if it was a good sealer, it's going to repel this sealer. If it's a bad sealer, it's just in the way. Either way, you're going to want to remove the sealer, the earlier sealer, so this gets to penetrate deeply. Excellent question. Anybody else? Sir. No, this is a natural look sealer. We do have an enhancer sealer. We have a matte finish enhancer sealer, and we have a wet look. Anybody else? We're going to be right over here, so we're easy to find. So if you have any other questions. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate the attention. Thank you very much.